Have you ever thought that just one small morning habit could decide the health of both your heart and brain? If you are over 65, then what I'm about to share may be the most important message you hear this year. Every morning, millions of older adults wake up and repeat their familiar routines, turning on the TV, reaching for the phone, or sipping that first cup of coffee. But have you ever asked yourself whether those seemingly harmless actions could actually be silently pushing you closer to a stroke? Did you know that most strokes don't happen at night, but are concentrated within the first 30 minutes after waking up? Why is that? Because your body has just gone through 7 to 8 hours of rest, your circulation has slowed down, your blood is thicker, and your blood pressure is still readjusting. And it's in that fragile moment that any wrong choice can become the final drop that tips the balance. Have you ever felt dizzy when sitting up, noticed your heart beating unusually fast, or simply felt more tired than usual in the morning? Those may be signals your body is sending you, but we often ignore them. In fact, stroke remains the second leading cause of death worldwide, and the #1 cause of long-term disability in people over 60. But here's the important part. Most of these risks can be prevented if you avoid just a few morning habits that appear harmless. So, do you want to know what those habits are? In this video, I will take you through 5 extremely common habits that can increase your risk of stroke. The most dangerous one is a habit almost everyone does every day, including you. Are you curious what it is? Before we dive into the main part, I'd like to invite you to join me. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss essential health tips for seniors. If you find this content helpful, type the number 1 in the comments. If you're not yet convinced, type 0, so I'll know how to improve it for you. Are you ready to begin with me? Because right now, we're going to uncover the very first morning mistake, a habit that seems small, but forces your heart and blood vessels to bear a heavy burden. Can you guess what it is?
Mistake number 1. The very first mistake that many people over 65 make is skipping breakfast or eating it too late. Have you ever told yourself, "I'm not hungry, skipping breakfast won't matter," or thought that skipping a meal might make you feel lighter, maybe even help with weight control? If you're doing this, stop and think carefully, because it may be one of the most dangerous habits for your heart and brain. When we sleep, the body rests but also fasts for 7 to 8 hours. By morning, every cell in your body is waiting for fuel to gently wake up the cardiovascular system and the brain. So what happens if you delay or skip this meal? Your body won't patiently wait. It will produce stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to force you to stay alert without fuel. You may have felt more awake after skipping breakfast, but did you know that's because stress hormones are flooding your bloodstream, raising your blood pressure, thickening your blood, and squeezing your arteries? Is that really a safe way to start the day? The good news is that you don't need a feast every morning. Just a banana, a few soaked walnuts, or a slice of whole grain bread is enough to wake up your body safely. So tomorrow morning, will you let your body stay in stress hunger, or will you gently give it some fuel to protect your heart and brain? And speaking of morning habits, there is one action even more dangerous than skipping breakfast. It's something almost 90% of people do the moment they open their eyes, thinking it's harmless. Can you guess what it is?
Mistake number 2. The second mistake many older adults make is reaching for the phone as soon as they wake up, or turning on the TV to check the news. It sounds harmless, doesn't it? After all, who doesn't want to know what's new each morning? But have you ever asked yourself what's happening inside your body when you flood it with stressful information the moment you wake up? Picture this. As soon as you open your eyes, your blood pressure starts to rise again. Your heart beats faster, and your hormones adjust to wake up your whole body. It's already a sensitive moment. So what happens if your brain is instantly bombarded with breaking news, noisy social media, or stressful work emails? Don't you think your body will interpret that as a real threat and immediately switch on the fight or flight mode? In fact, many of my patients admit that they feel more restless and anxious after checking their phones first thing in the morning. Take Richard, a 70-year-old from Texas. Every morning, his routine was to pick up his iPad and read the news. He thought he was staying informed, But within minutes, his heart rate would spike, his face would flush. One morning, he nearly fainted right after reading a headline about the stock market. Did he ever imagine that his iPad, the very companion he trusted each morning, could become a hidden danger to his heart? The good news is that this habit is very easy to change. You don't have to quit your phone or TV completely. Just give yourself 10 to 15 minutes of calm to start the day. Take deep breaths, sip a glass of water, or step outside to feel the sunlight. Can you feel the difference when you begin your morning with peace instead of panic? So, tomorrow morning, before reaching for your phone, ask yourself, do I want my mind flooded with cortisol, or do I want to start my day with serotonin? This choice may seem small, but it shapes your entire day. And when it comes to morning habits, there is one even more familiar than scrolling through your phone. A habit that millions treat as a sacred ritual to wake up, but in reality, it places even more strain on the heart and brain. Can you guess what it is? Mistake number 3. The third mistake that many people over 65 make is drinking coffee or tea immediately upon waking, before having a glass of water. Does that sound familiar? Do you start every morning with a hot cup of coffee or fragrant tea, treating it as a ritual to wake up your spirit? But have you ever asked yourself what your body truly needs first after a long night's sleep? Water or caffeine? Remember, for 7 to 8 hours, you haven't had anything to drink. Your body has lost water through breathing and sweat. Your blood has become thicker, your organs are thirsty, and your brain is still working under a fluid deficit. So, what happens if, at that very moment, you pour a cup of coffee or tea full of caffeine into your system? Do you know that caffeine is a diuretic, which means it pulls even more water out of your body instead of replenishing it? How do you think your heart and blood vessels will react when they're already dehydrated and then forced to work even harder? The good news is that you don't need to give up coffee or tea. They are small joys in the morning. But what matters is the order. Drink a glass of water first, maybe with a few drops of lemon or a pinch of sea salt to restore minerals. Then wait just 15 to 20 minutes before enjoying your coffee. This way, you can keep your cherished routine while also protecting your heart and brain. Don't you see how such a small change in sequence can make a big difference in your long-term health? And speaking of small actions, there's another thing many people still do every morning without giving it much thought. It's not about eating or drinking, it's about holding it in, a decision that seems harmless, but can put tremendous pressure on the heart and blood vessels. Are you curious to know what that is?
Mistake number 4. The fourth morning mistake may sound minor, but it is so common that almost everyone has done it at some point. Holding in your urine after waking up. Have you ever woken up, felt the urge to go, but told yourself, just a few more minutes, let me stay warm in bed before getting up? It sounds harmless, doesn't it? But have you ever thought that this small delay could actually place your heart under dangerous pressure? When your bladder is full, the internal pressure in your body rises. And do you know what happens when the body is forced to endure that pressure? Blood pressure can spike within minutes. The heart must pump harder, and the blood vessels tighten. If you already have high blood pressure or fragile vessels due to age, do you think your body can withstand that added stress? The good news is that this habit can be changed easily. Tomorrow morning, instead of forcing yourself to stay in bed, listen to your body. If you feel the urge, get up and go right away. Don't you think that one simple step could release pressure and bring relief to both body and mind? Because sometimes peace doesn't come from doing more, but from not delaying what needs to be done. And when it comes to don't delay, there's another habit that is even more dangerous. Not because you hold back, but because you rush too much. That's when you jump out of bed too quickly, thinking you're still strong,
when in reality, you're putting your brain and heart at risk. Do you want to know why just one sudden movement of standing up fast can change not only your day, but even your life?
Mistake number 5. The final morning mistake, and one that many older adults still fall into, is getting out of bed too quickly. Have you ever thought that sitting up fast was a sign that you were still healthy and agile? But have you ever asked yourself what's happening inside your body in that very moment? When you sleep, your blood pressure lowers, your heart rate slows, and your whole circulatory system shifts into rest mode. In the morning, your body needs time to transition from lying flat to standing upright. If you spring up suddenly, blood doesn't reach the brain in time, pressure changes too quickly, and the result may not just be momentary dizziness. Don't you think that those few seconds could become the spark for a stroke or an unexpected fall? The good news is this habit can be changed without difficulty. Tomorrow morning, instead of jumping up immediately, open your eyes, take a few deep breaths, then slowly sit up. Place your feet on the floor, sit still for about 30 seconds to let your body adjust, and only then stand up. Don't you think that just one extra minute of patience could buy you safety for the entire day? And here's the important part. The 5 mistakes we just discussed can add up and wear down your health over the years. But the good news is, with just small adjustments, you can transform your morning into a time of protection instead of a threat to your health. So what are the simple, practical solutions you can start tomorrow to make your morning the foundation of peace? We've now gone through the 5 morning mistakes that so many people over 65 unknowingly make. Skipping breakfast, reaching for the phone, drinking coffee before water, holding in urine after waking, and getting out of bed too quickly. Do you notice how familiar all these are? Habits you may have kept for years. But the real question is, will you continue them, or will you choose to change in order to protect your heart and brain? The real solution isn't complicated. You don't need to run a marathon nor follow a strict diet. It all begins with a few small but consistent actions. A glass of water to wake up your body, a light breakfast to stabilize blood sugar, a few minutes of deep breathing to create calm, listening to your body and going to the bathroom when needed, then standing up slowly to protect your blood vessels and maintain balance. Don't you see how less than 10 minutes each morning can significantly reduce your risk of stroke? The wonderful thing is that every morning is a new opportunity. Even if you've neglected your health before, tomorrow morning can still be a fresh start. Wouldn't you like to wake up tomorrow feeling safer and more in control than today? Stroke often strikes suddenly, but its causes build up through daily habits. And the good news is, you can change that outcome. Remember, aging does not equal illness. It can be the time when you live more wisely and fully if you know how to listen to and respect your body. Wouldn't you want more healthy years to enjoy your grandchildren, to travel, and to keep living life on your own terms? Now, I want to hear from you. After watching this video, what have you learned and which habit will you apply to your morning tomorrow? Leave your answer in the comments. If you found this video helpful, type 1. If you're not yet convinced, type 0 so I know how to improve. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get more valuable content about senior health. Thank you for staying with me until the end. I wish you peaceful mornings and a fulfilling, healthy, and hopeful journey through your later years.